Hello. Does it feel like your hair is growing really slowly? Because mine does too. 9 months ago, I decided to restart my journey to waist length. And today, my hair is only just over 2 inches longer than it was 9 months ago. Why is this? In this video, we're going to analyze why my hair is taking so long to grow, because it might be some of the same reasons that yours is too. I've got a whole timeline of photos and measurements, so let's get into it. So this was my hair length at the beginning of this journey back in August. This is my hair length now. As you can see, it's just over 2 inches of length progress. Now, if you go by the national hair growth average that your hair is supposed to grow 1/2 inch per month, then theoretically I should have got about 4.5 inches of length progress by now, right? The advice I've heard from most hair gurus online, by the way, I don't consider myself a hair guru, in order to grow long hair fast, you need to start at a healthy starting point, get rid of your damage, start with fresh, blunt, healthy ends, and then you have to do everything in your power to look after those ends, maintain them, stop them from breaking. Your masks, your deep conditioners, leave-in conditioners, your leave-in hair oils, minimizing heat, protective styles, silk pillowcases, silk scrunchies, you know, everything under the sun that you hear about on like Hair Talk, Hair Instagram, Hair YouTube. But unfortunately, this does not work for me, and it might not be working for you either. And the reason is that I have a dry hair type. Now, if you're not new here, you'll already know this because I don't stop banging on about it in my hair videos. But the point of my hair videos is learning how to deal with dry hair, learning to accept it and work with it, and also trying to grow it out, although the progress is so slow. A lot of hair gurus say if you want to grow long hair, you gotta stop cutting it. But if your ends are continuously just frying up, breaking off, splitting, then you kind of have no choice but to keep getting fairly regular trims. Otherwise, those split ends keep on splitting up the hair shaft the longer you leave them without cutting them. You can do things like dusting, which I'll talk a little bit about later. So the problem for us dry hair girlies is we have to keep cutting off the length progress that we make. Otherwise, our hair will just look terrible. I have been there. I've got the t-shirt. This was my hair back in 2016. I've shared this photo in so many of my videos, but it just goes to show that if you're not getting regular trims, your hair will just look wispy and fine and broken. So over the past year or so, I've been trimming it about every 3 to 4 months. So here we are on the 7th of August 2024, my starting point, and from the back my hair measured 26 inches. And just so you know, this is how I measure it. I place the measuring tape at the front of my hairline, across the center of my head and down the back. You can't really do this in a mirror because you can't see, so you kind of have to take a video or a photo of it to see what the measurement is. Just under 3 months later, we're now at about 27 inches. So we're at 1 inch of growth in 3 months. Why didn't it grow that extra 1/2 inch? My guess is that I didn't really get enough cut off at that starting point. I had just got a haircut. I wasn't too pleased with the haircut and my hair was still feeling really dry and crusty at the ends. So here we have 2 options. Option 1, take the best care of my ends as possible and let it grow. Or option 2, trim it. I chose to trim it, so we're back to 26 inches again after 3 months. But a month and a half after that trim, we're now on December 16th, and we've reached around 27.5 inches. So it's seemingly grown 3 times as fast as it did in the previous months. Why is this? Well, there could be a variety of reasons. Number 1, after the trim that I did, I had blunter, fresher ends that weren't breaking as much. 2, it could have been my natural hair growth cycle. I could have been in an anagen phase, which is the hair growth phase. I don't actually know when my hair growth phases are or how to track them, so it's a bit of a mystery. 3, it could have been the Nioxin products that I was using at that time. Not sponsored, but I'll leave a link below. I do have a sneaking suspicion they had something to do with it. 4, maybe I just measured it slightly off. 5, it could just be something to do with my hormonal natural body cycle. But by February, which is another month and a half later, it had only grown about 1/2 inch again. So it had slowed back down. Maybe even perhaps the initial effects of using the Nioxin spray had kind of started to wear off, if it was the Nioxin spray. Who knows? But around this time, I also got back into a really bad habit of splitting and picking at my ends because of bad mental health. So I basically was destroying a lot of the progress that I made. And this is where I left off in my last hair growth update episode. So it now measured about 28.7-ish inches. So that's a total of 2.5 inches longer than where we started. But it looked horrendous from the wear and tear and from my splitting habit that had come back. So I marched myself to my local hairdressers because it was about time that I got a professional trim. So I got about 1.5 inches cut off, and I got a U shape at the back, which has been my go-to for the past year or so. She actually did a really good job and I really liked it. I've just got home from my trim. It's looking a lot better. She cut all the way around about 1 inch off. Look at those ends. They feel like nice and slinky. It actually looks a lot better. But also I did use the Briogeo hair mask yesterday, so my hair is feeling extra soft and slinky, and I blow dried it straight. So after that trip to the hairdressers, we're now back to 27.4-ish inches. It's now been 2 months since that trip to the hairdressers, so I'm going to show how much it's grown nearer the end of this video. Let's talk about some of my hair care discoveries in the last 2 months. I started trying the blowout rods. These are like a cheap version that I found on Amazon. I'll link them below. I think they're about 11 quid. I got a pack of 4 so that there's more options for types of styles I can do. If you watched my 7 days of hair care video, in that video I was really struggling with these because the initial results were gorgeous, so gorgeous, but the results would drop within like an hour and my hair would start to look kind of frizzy, the curl would fall out and the volume would go. It probably would have helped if I had used some styling products. Some people suggested using a hair mousse before putting them in. I also didn't use any hairspray or anything like that. So just like with any other kind of heatless curls, I would do it on the night that I've washed my hair. If you do it on freshly washed hair that's slightly damp, the curl will usually stay a bit longer. But for some reason with this, it just wasn't giving the same effect. Because it wasn't completely dry when I put these in, it would sometimes just frizz up the next day. And a way I found to use them that makes them work, to actually use them to preserve already styled hair. One day I actually just blow dried my hair with my spinning brush and I put it in rollers, so I had this beautiful sort of like bouncy blowout look. That night I then used these to preserve the blowout, and I found that the next day it pretty much lasted like all day. I had this really lovely like bend and curl and shape to my hair, and it didn't go frizzy. And I think this was because I had used heat to get the initial style, and then I just used these to help keep the style overnight. But using these on their own so far hasn't been particularly successful for me, and I'll keep experimenting with them. I also want to try some different methods of wrapping and different placement on the head to see what kind of different results I get. In my last hair update I talked about this hair tool that I kept seeing everywhere. I decided I didn't really want to be using more heat tools on my hair. I kind of thought, you know, I can live without it, but I felt like talking about it and then not actually trying it was a bit of a tease, so I bought it. Let's try it. I've literally bought this for the sole purpose of this video. This is the exact one that they're using in all the videos, so I'm going to link it below. Let's try it out. I'm kind of scared to use this because I did have some comments on my last video saying that they kind of like rip out your hair a little bit. I'm going to make sure to detangle first really well. I got the slightly more expensive one because it had more temperature controls. So the highest it goes is 215 degrees. The lowest it goes is 150 degrees. I'm going to go with the lowest option. So I just let my hair air dry. I actually used my rice water again and my Yao Secret rice water bar and conditioner. I'm gonna spray some heat defense, making sure this is absolutely tangle free. Guess we just do it like this. Oh girl. Okay. That was just one pass. I will try to do as little passes as I can if I'm using any kind of heat tool. Okay, this is pretty easy so far. Smoothly going through. Nice, I like that. If I used a roller afterwards, actually, it will probably give a better result. But let's just go with these 2 passes for now. I'm curling it under. Okay, on the top, just to smooth out the top bit. For the end, I'm going to curl it under. Not bad. I mean, it's definitely tamed it. This is my immediate results. I do have to say it was very quick, a lot quicker than blow drying my hair in this style. Just it felt less damaging than using a straightener for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's all in my head. Let's do a hair count. 3. I only lost 7 hairs on just doing 1/2 of my head. That's not that bad because you lose a heck ton more than that when you're just normally brushing your hair in the shower day to day, so it's not that bad. So here's my finished result. I don't think it's particularly high quality is quite light. It's fairly cheaply made, but did it do the job? Yeah. I do quite like the design of it. It's easy to use. I like this like bit on the end that you can hold and swivel. I am a little concerned about how I'll clean it. What you have to know about these brands is quite often you can get the same thing made in the same factory, and you just whack a different brand on it. You whack a slightly different shape of handle and then they call it a different brand. Most of them are gonna work pretty much the same way. Obviously this one has more temperature control, so I'll leave this one below. Apparently it has negative ions. So would I recommend buying this? On first impressions, yeah, it's worked. It gave me a nice hairstyle. I would use it again, yes. I'm gonna continue using it and see if it grows on me anymore, if I can find some different styles to use. Regardless, I'm going to link it below anyway. I have also switched to wooden hair tools, which I've been wanting to do for quite some time now. These were actually sent to me by Yao Secret to do a sponsorship in a past video about their rice water. I'm gonna link that video in the description as well, but they actually sent me their real rice water, which was so cool because back like 5 years ago I tried making it myself. I made a whole video where I researched into it, so it was such a cool full circle moment to actually get to try the real stuff, and you can buy it as well, so check out that video. My favorite of their products is their hair brushes. I do usually prefer things that aren't made of plastic. They're all made of Vera wood. They just feel nicer to use. It feels better on my hair and on my scalp. The bristles are quite thick and rounded on the ends, so you can really press it into your scalp and it's not going to scrape or scratch, and it actually kind of helps give your scalp a bit of a massage. It just kind of glides through your hair. You can feel how durable and high quality they are. They're just really nice to use. I just enjoy using them. They feel just kind of special. They did give me an affiliate link, so I will link them below if you're interested. I finally finished my Nioxin shampoo and conditioner. I'm not sure if I will repurchase the wash products, but I am thinking about repurchasing the spray because I think if anything the spray was probably what was having the biggest effect on my hair growth. What about my splitting and picking habit? Well, it's gotten actually a little bit better, but I do have some days where I'm really just struggling to focus and I just start doing it. It's really something that's quite hard to stop. It has gotten better than it was, so because of this I am getting another trim tomorrow. With fresher ends I'll have less incentive to be picking at them. I have also started playing around with dusting. I used to do dusting in a different way. So when I was a teenager I actually used to trim off like a centimetre of my hair from the ends every single month, and to me that was dusting. But actually there's another type of dusting where you actually go through the length of your hair and you're just cutting off any like random stray hairs that are sticking out, that are split or look a bit frazzled and broken. It is actually quite important that I do this. I really should have been doing this before because my hair is dry and obviously not all of the ends of my hair are at the end. Maintaining your hair from the ends is all well and good, but I have hairs that are this length, that length, this length, and they're all throughout my head. You don't want to forget about those hairs because they can also split and break and get frazzled on the ends. So you kind of have to find a way of cutting all of them, as many as you can. This takes quite a lot of time. I actually found a video, I'll put it here if I can find it. I don't know if other people do this as well already, but she kind of did this method where she wrapped it around the comb in a certain way and then she goes through with her scissors to cut off the little sticky out hairs. I don't know why it never occurred to me to do this, but I have been doing it every couple of months. I like to take very small sections of hair and do the top and then the underneath section, so it takes quite a while to get through it. It can kind of like strain your eyes a little bit after a while, but you also want to make sure you're not doing this too often, because if you're continually just trimming off ends of your hair all throughout your head all the time, your hair will start to thin out and your ends will start to thin out especially. You can also do the twist technique where you twist it, rough it up a little bit, which I don't really like doing, but and then you can see from there. I've also started using this pure silicone spray a little bit more. I've had this for quite a while. Sometimes a little bit hesitant of using it because it can kind of dry out your hair if you use it too much, but I've just been using it every now and then before I blow dry it. So I'll do a very light mist over my hair. It kind of acts like a heat protectant, but I really try not to overuse this because because it can prevent moisture from getting into your hair and it can dry out your hair, and it can also build up on your hair. But yeah, I kind of just focus it on my ends just to give them some protection from blow drying every couple of weeks or so. My leave-ins have stayed the same, nothing's changed. I'm still using this one, and I occasionally use this bond repair serum. So how much has my hair grown since you last saw me? Well, in my last hair update, it was on its way to 29 inches. It was like 28.7-ish. But as we know, it looked really bad. So shortly after I filmed that video, I obviously got my hair trimmed. It was back to about 27.5 inches. And today, exactly 2 months later, it has grown to nearly 28.5 inches. I'd say it's maybe 28.2 or 3 inches. But the funny thing is, these are my measurements from the back, but actually from the front, it looks so much longer. From the front, it measured about 13.5 after I cut it, and then it got to like nearly 15 from the front. So it's difficult because my measurements seem different from the back and the front. It's feeling really, really bad, and my splitting habit hasn't completely gone away, so I'm getting another cut. It's the next day. I've just got back from the hairdressers again. It was a different woman this time. She did it a lot quicker. I noticed it wasn't as defined as the last time I got it, and she charged me more, and it was the same hair salon. I wasn't as pleased with the results this time, but we are back to basically where we were 2 months ago. I won't lie, my ends still feel like they probably could have done with a bit more off, but I'm never gonna reach waist length if I just keep cutting off so much. So I only got an inch taken off, and I think it's just about enough. And I also just got the front parts tidied up a little bit. So I'm actually just going to apply a little bit of leave-in conditioner to the ends. I've heard from various sources on the internet that when you get your hair cut, the ends are like open to the elements again because it's like a fresh cut end. So you kind of need to like seal them and give them moisture, because otherwise the moisture escapes from the ends and can dry out. I'm also putting a little bit of my hair oil on those ends just to seal them up again. So this is like my problem area. I get to the 27 to 28 inches mark and my hair just seems to slow down because it starts getting so dry and dead and frazzled at those ends that I have to keep cutting it back. And if you find that your hair gets to a certain length and then it just seems to stop growing, this is probably what's happening. It's breaking off a lot of the ends, and you find that you have to either keep trimming it or you're leaving it to grow, but it's not really growing because it keeps breaking. Obviously, my picking habit doesn't help. Anyway, I'm just learning to accept that my hair will never be perfect. It will never be how I always dreamed it to be. And for me, trimming it regularly has been the only thing making a big enough difference to the health of my hair. Also, just to let you know, this is probably going to be one of my last hair update videos, because although I wanted to document my journey to growing to waist length again, I've been trying to make one of these updates at least every 2 months, but I feel like the information I give in these videos can be a little bit samey. I tend to repeat myself a lot, and I feel like maybe they're no longer helpful. So the next time I check in will be after I've made some substantial progress, and judging by how slowly my hair length progress is progressing, that will probably be in quite a few months' time. So that will allow me more time to focus on other types of content for my channel and for my new channel as well. I am actually starting a new series on my second channel. It's all about improving my social habits, pushing myself out of my comfort zone, getting out there and meeting new people and doing things that I wouldn't normally do. It's a really wholesome series. I've had really good feedback on it so far. Please do go and watch that. I'm going to leave one of the videos right here. By the way, I've just started doing a newsletter every month where I'm sharing things I've learned throughout the month that I don't necessarily share on either of my YouTube channels. If you want a little sneak peek into behind the scenes, join the newsletter below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Mwah.